Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. As you all know that we are working with library management system, and in previous video I have already shown you how to design this issue books form. Here you can see this. So if you have not watched my previous video, then just go to description. There I have put the link for the previous video, or you can just click on the suggestion on the right side of your screen. Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to backend code for this form. Here you can see this. When I click on this, nothing happens. Okay, so you can see this, and here nothing is in this drop down. So let's start with that. So let me just close this one first. So first thing what we need is, when I click on this, uh, this drop down needs to be loaded with the data, that is the book's name. So let me show you in the complete project. So let me start this one. Okay, so let me start this. Here you can see this. When I click on this, here you can see this, all the book name are available here. These are from the database. So how to add these values from database to this combo box, I am going to show you right now. Okay, so let me just close this and let me move to this library video. So before starting, what we have to do is we have to change the name of these text boxes and columns. So let's start with that. Okay, just right click and go to properties, and after that you have to change this one to txt name. Change this one to txt department. This one to txt semester. This one to txt contact. This one to txt email. This one to txt book, or you can set combo box. Okay, just right click and go to properties in the same way, combo box 1. So let me just change this one to combo box books, and let me just change this to the time picker. That's it. Okay, so we have to also change the button name of this one to btn issue book. Hit enter, and this one to txt enrollment number. txt enrollment. Okay, and change this button also, btn search. After that, this one to btn refresh. This one to btn exit. Hit enter. Okay, so now I'm going to add a book name into this combo box. So how to do that? So what I actually need is, when this form loads, the data needs to be present in that drop down. So where we have to code is on the form load event. So how to generate a form load event, you already know that, and previous video I've already shown you. Just double click on this form and it will generate a form load event. So I'm going to just double click on this. Here you can see this issue book load event is generated. So first thing what we have to do is we have to make the connection with the database. So how to do that? For that, first thing we need to make SQL connection. Okay, so show error because we haven't imported the library. So in this same way you can import the library, or you can manually write this using system.data.sql client. When I click on this, here you can see this library is imported. Okay, so here you can observe one small change is that the color of this has been changed. After that, what we have to write is con equals new SQL connection, and con dot connection is string. In this you have to pass the data source, and data source is nothing but you have to just go to your MySQL servers management studio. After that, connect object, and you have to just copy this stuff the server name. Each system had different server name, so just copy from your system and you have to paste it over here, and you have to mark one more slash over here, and after this you have to mention the database name. So as you all know that my database name is library, so I'm going to mention that, and after that finally you have to write integrated security equals true. Now the connection is established. After that what we have to do is we have to mention SQL command cmd equals new SQL command. Okay, after that we have to pass the connection string to this connection object to this SQL command. Okay, so connection equals pawn, and pawn dot, I'm going to open the connection. So I have opened the connection. Here you can see this. After this what we have to do is we have to execute one query that is nothing but cmd equals new SQL command. That is what you have to execute this. What we have to select is just the name of that books. So select b b name. This is the column name from new book. This is the table name actually. Okay, and you have to pass the connection with the net so that it will execute. So I'm going to show you from where I have written this. So let me just move back here. Here you can see this. We have created actually a table. So the table name is new book. Here you can see this. So this is basically the book, the table name. Here you can see this new book, and this is the column name. Let me just show you. Here you can see this B, and it's a capital N. That's why I have mentioned in that way. So you have to mention in the same way which I have mentioned. Okay, so let me just move forward with that. Okay, so after this what we have to write is we have to make a object of this SQL data reader, actually data reader, and str equals, and in this we have to pass this execute reader like this. Now we have the data. So what we have to do is now we have to insert that data one by one into that column. So how to do that? For that we have to take a loop, that is while loop. Okay, while str dot read. So this loop will work till this SDR. From this SDR we read something. It means that if we have 10 columns, 10 rows, then till 10 it will execute. After 10 it will read nothing from this SDR. This is the SQL data reader. So after this loop will stop executing. So in this we have to execute this for int I equals 0, and it will execute till SDR dot field count. Okay, so it will execute from 0 to SDR field count. Suppose in this SDR we have 10 rows, so it will execute till 10. Okay, so it start from 0, so it will execute from 0 to 9. Total the value will be 10. So after this what we have to write is I++, we will increment the value. Okay, so we have to remove this one because it will not work here. Okay, so now it's looking nice. Okay, so in this now what we have to do is we have to fill the data in the each iteration. So for that combo box dot books dot items, we are going to add items dot add, and what from where we have to add is from SDR dot get string. We are going to get this string actually. So you have to write like this, and which string we are going to get is I. The I is the index value, and now after this we have to do small stuff, that is we have to close this SDR dot close, and in the same way we have to close the connection. So con dot close. So let me just execute this and let me see that if that combo box is filled with the data or not. Okay, so let me just click on this, and here you can observe that the data is filled in this combo box. Okay, so let me just check quickly by adding one more book. So let me just add one more book, that is something digital, okay, electronics, author name ABC, publication ABC at the rate XYCYZ, something like this, purchase date, book prices 5,000 and quantity is 5, and just save. Now book is saved. So I have put the book name, that is electronic, so I have just click on that, and here you can observe that electronic is added. Okay, so let me just remove this quickly. Okay, so I'm going to remove this, just delete this. Okay, so now let me just show you. When I deleted, the data is removed from this combo box. Okay, so now it's working fine. So now what we have to do is, now the data is filled in the data box. Okay, sorry, combo box. So after this, what we have to do is we have to search the actually search student from this enrollment number. Here you can see this. When I type PU0-1001, when I click on this, what I need is, when this enrollment number is valid, the data of that student needs to be filled into these text boxes. So how to do that? For that, we are going to code on this search button click event. Okay, so let me just generate the click event for that. So here you can see this is the issue book. So let me close this stuff. Okay, issue book is here. So we have to just generate a click event for this search button. Just double click on this and this will generate a click event. So first thing what we have to check is that if that text box is empty, then nothing should happen. So txt enrollment number, that is enrollment dot text, is not equals to null. So first thing we are going to check this, that if it's null, then nothing should happen. Okay, so otherwise it will generate an exception. Okay, so first thing what we need is string eid, that is the id from where we need this id. This id needs to be from this txt enrollment dot text. Okay, after this we have to create a SQL connection in the same way I have previously shown you. So let me just copy this stuff till here actually. Okay, just copy this and you have to paste it over here. And after this, what we have to do is we have to write cmd dot command text, and in this you have to write select star from new student. I have written this new student in this format because my table name is in that format. So here you can see this new student, N is in capital and S is also in the capital. So make sure you don't make mistake in these small stuff. Okay, so select star from new student, and after this where we are going to check the enrollment number of that student. So where enroll equals plus eid, we are going to check that. Okay, so I have put this extra quotes because, okay, sorry, here I have written wrong eid, that's why it's showing error. It will be resolved. Okay, so I have put this extra colon here because it says it's in the string format in the database, txt enrollment number, that's why. Okay, so after this we have to store the data which we are retrieving from the database into data set. So how to do that? For that we have to write SQL data adapter. So da equals new SQL data adapter, and in this we have to pass the command. After this we have to make an object of data set. Data set ds equals new data set, and now we have to fill this data set. Da dot fill ds. That's nice. Okay, so now we have the data into this data set. After this, what we are left with, we have to actually fill this data into these text boxes. So how to do that? So for that, we have to just write like this. First thing, we are going to check that if TS data set is empty or not. So in data set, you know that the data is stored in the form of tables. So I'm going to write like this: tables dot rows dot count is not equal to 0. Okay, so if this will not equal to 0, then only this code will be executed. In other condition, if you are try to assign nothing into a text wall, then this will generate an exception and this will suddenly close your application. So now we have the value in this data set. Let me just add, here you can see this. I have added a breakpoint here, and let me just execute this program. When I click on this, and when I click view dash 1001 and search student, now here we stopped and just hover on this data set, and after that you have to just go and just click on this magnify glass. Here you can see this view 1001 is the enrollment number, and this is filled with the data. In the case if you just enter some wrong ID, then this will filled with nothing. So I have entered the wrong ID, and just click on this, and here you can observe that this table is empty. So in the case if I don't add this if condition, if I don't check that data set is empty or not, then we are trying to assign the null value to text box, and this will generate a error. So that's why I'm going to use this. Okay, so now I hope you are clear with this, why I'm using this stuff. So first thing what I want is I want to set the name. So data set dot text equals ds dot tables, and from which table we actually have only one table, so table 0, and rows 0, and which column actually we need. The rows will be always 0 because we have only one row, and from that we have to extract the value. So what we have to do is we have to change the column name one by one. So as you know that this first column, that is the 0th column, is the ID. Okay, so that is a primary key, so we don't want that. We want to assign the name. So first column is nothing but name. Okay, so let me just put this value dot to string, just convert that value into string. So let me just execute this and show you. Okay, so you can see this. When I click on this view dash 1001, when I click on this, here you can see this is filled with a lowercase. Okay, so let me just close this, and let's close this, and the same way we have to assign the remaining value. So we have to assign txt department dot text equals ds dot tables 0 dot rows 0 2 dot to string. So guys, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get updated with our new content, and just subscribe us to support. I don't know how, you have to just click on the red subscribe button right below this video. Okay, so after this txt semester dot text equals ds dot tables 0 3 dot to string. Okay, okay, so we actually faced one small problem. So let me just start this, an issue book pu dash 1001, and when I click on this, here you can see this in the department it's filled with the enrollment number. So why this is happening, let me just show you. Let me just add a breakpoint over here. Okay, so let me add a breakpoint over here and just start this, and issue view dash 1001, and just click on this. Just go to data set, and when I click on this, here you will find that the 0th row and the 0th column SID, we don't want that. We want S name. So this is 0th row and 1 column. Here you can see the 0 1, this will assign the name. This one is 0 and 1. sorry, 0 and 2. So 0 and 2 is enrollment number. So in department we have assigned the enrollment number. So we have to skip this enrollment. So we have to actually assign 3 over here, and after that 4, 5 and 6. I hope you understand. If you don't understand, just comment and ask with us, or if you face any problem, then just go to our Instagram account and there you can message directly and you can contact us directly. I will reply you as soon as possible. Okay. So we have to change this stuff. Let me just stop this and let me remove this breakpoint, and we have to add 3 and 4 over here. In the same way we have to do for the remaining. So txt contact and equals, sorry, contact dot text equals ds dot tables 0 dot rows 0 row, and this one is 5 2 string. Okay, in the same way we have to do for the email dot text equals ds dot tables this one to 6 and convert this to string. Okay, and in the else condition, if the id is, suppose, let me start this and let me show you one small stuff. So suppose here you 101 1001. When I click here, you can see this is filled with the data. So now it's looking nice, everything is filled in the proper order, and you can see this select the data. So now the task is done here. Suppose what I want is when user enters some other email ID. So here you can see this, when I click on this, nothing is happening. So what I want is when a user enter or the administrator enter wrong enrollment number, I want these data needs to be cleaned. So how to do that? For that we have to just add one else condition over here, else condition. So try to understand one small stuff is that this will execute only when this data set have valid, this data set have some value. So understand this clearly. So this data set have only have value when this EID match into this database. Okay, so you need to understand this small stuff. When this EID, that is enrollment number, only match, then this data set will have some value. And when it have some value, this is going to check that this is empty or not. So it's not empty, then this task is performed. And if this is empty, then this condition will be fail. In that condition, this else condition will be executed. In this else condition, what we have to do is we have to just clear the text fields if it have some data. So txt name dot clear txt department dot clear. After that we have to write txt sam dot clear txt contact, we want to clear that too. After that txt email dot clear. And after this I want to show a message that you have entered an invalid enrollment number. So how to do that? For that I am going to use a message box dot show, and this I have to write this. Okay, invalid enrollment number. After this we have to write error, message box button needs to be okay, that's it. And after that I want a message box icon needs to be error. Okay, so you have to write like this. So let me just execute it and let me just show you that. Here you can see this, when I write something wrong, invalid enrollment number, and let me just add one valid and click on search. Here you can see this Puja and the small stuff is all filled. So let me just change this one. So you can see this location, and so let me just enter something wrong. So I have entered with the wrong enrollment number. When I click on this, all text boxes are clear, and here you can see this error invalid enrollment number. So let me just close this stuff. And here what we have to do is, let me just close this. So now Now our data is filled. Okay, so now next what we have to do is we have to code for the issue book. Okay, so let me just go to this design and just double click on this to generate a click event of this issue book. So I have just clicked on this. After this, what we have to check is that first thing what we have to do is we have to actually check that this text box is empty or not. Okay, so suppose txt name. Okay, so let me just remove this. So first thing what we have to do is we have to disable these all text boxes so that no of the this user can actually make changes into this text field. So let me just go to this, just make this a little bit large. After that, search for read only actually. Okay, so let me search read only. Here you can see this read only. So just make this enable. In the same way you have to do for the rest. Select one, go to properties, read only, make this true. Okay, so this one to also to read only. Okay, so this one only to change this one to list actually. Let me just search for the valid property. Okay, so enable true flat style standard. Okay, okay, so let me just check this stuff. So what we have to do is we have to change the drop down style. Let me just find that. So here you can see this drop down style to drop down list. Just change this. The same way you can just click anywhere on that drop down and that will work properly. Okay, so after this, try to understand one small stuff. If why I'm going to write this txt name dot text is not equal to null, then this code will execute. Why I have written over here this stuff. If you are trying to understand, just focus on the stuff what is going on. So let me just make you understand what is this. Okay, so here what I have done is I have made this text box read only. When a user enter only valid enrollment number, then this text box will be filled with the data. So if that text box is empty, then this issue book will not work. This button will not work. And if this text box have some data, then this issue book, we can issue a book on that enrollment number. Okay, so before we are going to code further, what we have to do is we have to execute one query to create a table, so that in that we have to assign the value. Okay, okay, assign these records. Okay, so let me just move back to this database, and here you have to execute this query. You can just pause the video and you have to just manually write this, or you can just go to description and copy this table from this query from there. Okay, so what I have done over here is I have just written over here is create table, and this is a table name, that is IR book, that is issue and return book basically. Here I have given an ID that is auto incremented and it's a primary key and it's not null. I have added a constraint. So here what I have written this TD enrollment number is this in the varchar not null, student name varchar not null, department not null, semester not null, contact that is begin not null. In previous video I have already explained you why this is big end in the place of end. I have already explained you. Okay, so this is student email varchar not null, book name varchar not null, issue date varchar not null. And here you can observe one small stuff is that book return date varchar 250, and it can be allowed, it accept null. Okay, because at the time of issue we cannot fill the return date. Okay, so that will be filled in the place of in the date of return. Okay, so you have to just execute this stuff. I hope you have executed this, and now I'm going to code for the further. Just move back to this video, and here you can see this. So let me just go to this event, and after that here what we have to do is here you can observe one small stuff that maximum 3 books can be allowed to a student, one student. So what we have to do is first what we want to do is we want to actually search how many student, how many actually books has been allotted to a particular enrollment number. So from where we have to code for this is we have to code for this and the search student button. So click on this and move over here. So here I'm going to write one more code, few lines of code over here. So what is that? Let me just add so that this will actually look nice and you can uniquely identify that what this code is. Here I'm going to write this code to count how many book has been issued on this enrollment number. So here what we have to do is our SQL connection is already done here, so we are going to use that. So we have to actually change this stuff. So let me just copy this and paste it over here, and we have to take one variable that is nothing but a count variable. So I'm going to take this upside here. Okay, so I've added a count over here. Here you can see this, and let me just change this stuff, that is select count. Count is a actually a function in SQL. This count is not this. Okay, so I have to write this count, and within this we have to count is std underscore enrollment from table, that is issue and return book, where enrollment number is, where std, we have to change this enrollment number name std enroll, and the eid, and we have to check one more condition, that is book return date underscore date is null. Okay, so if you have not understood what I have written over here, don't worry, I'm just going to explain you small each stuff, don't you worry about that. So here you can see this, it's showing error, so let me just resolve this because you may get confused with this. Okay, so this is showing error, so not to worry about that, you have to just add one. Okay, so one over here, and that's it. This will work fine. Okay, so now you can see this, all the error has been resolved. So now I'm going to explain what the hell is going on over here. So I'm working with this. Okay, so let me just execute this once more and let me just show you. So when I execute this, here you can see this, it's lots of data. So what we are going to do is we are going to actually count that select count std enrollment number. Okay, so in this table what we are going to search is count this student name, student enrollment number. Okay, so we are going to count the student number which is inserted into that text box, search text box. Here you can see this, in this text box we are going to take the value from this text box, and from this where enrollment number is this. Here till here you have understood. Okay, so after that what we have added is, and book return date is null. So that, what is that? Book return date is null. It means that if the user has not returned the book, then only this return date is null. So it means that if user suppose the user has taken or issued 3 books, so there will be a 3 null row with the return date. Okay, so I hope you understand this stuff. So here you can see this with the Alok, here you can see this Alok 2, and okay, so you can observe one small stuff is that Alok, here you can see this Alok is here, Alok is here, and Alok is here. Here you can see this in 3 rows the return date is null, so we cannot issue book to this Alok because it's already taken the 3 books and it haven't returned. If we return 1 book, then this return date will be added, and then he will be eligible to take 1 more book. Okay, so here we are actually checking that he has not returned. We are going to check here that how many books he haven't returned. So we will find that it's 3, then this will not give any book to that student. So now we have the value into this data set. So now I'm going to assign that value into this count equals int, and we have to convert that into parse integer type. So ds1 dot tables 0 dot rows dot 0 0 dot, and just convert this to string like this. Okay, so we have some error over here, so we have to actually mention this. Okay, sorry, so we have to replace this stuff. Okay, ds1 dot tables dot rows 0 0 dot 2 string, and now this will be, now this count have the value how many books actually the student have taken. Okay, so after this, now we are going to use this count here, not to worry about that. So in this, first thing what we have checked that txt name should not be empty. After this, what we have to do is if combo box dot combo box books dot, okay, select index, selected index is not equals -1, and count is greater than or equal to 2. So this is the variable in which we have actually assigned the value. Okay, so this is the count, and with this we are going to compare. Here you can see this, we are checking two conditions. So first thing, that combo box needs to be selected, and the second condition, the count should be greater than or equal to, sorry, we have written wrong here, less than or equal to 2, because we have to count the 0, 1 and 2. So 3 books are here, you can see this. So let me just add one message box, okay, dot show hello I am in, and just save this and just start this. I'm going to show you why this I have written over here. Just click on this. Okay, so when I click on this, you can see this pu dash 1002. Okay, so suppose I haven't clicked over here and nothing is over here. So when I click on this, nothing happened. So I'm going to just click on this, and here you can see this. When I click on this, nothing happened till now because I haven't selected this combo box. So I'm going to select this one, and when I click on this, hello I am in, because first condition is that this text box needs to be filled, and second condition is that this combo box needs to be selected. So now when I click on this will work fine. So I hope you understand what is going on over here. So let me just remove this quickly, and after this what we have to do is we have to take the value from each text box. So for that we have to create a variables string enroll equals txt, enter enrollment dot text. We have to insert the text enrollment number as well. String as name equals txt name dot text. String department equals txt department dot text. Sam equals txt sam dot text. Okay, so we have enrollment number, name, department and semester. Enrollment number, name, department and semester. After that, contact, email, book name and book issue date. So after semester what we have is contact number. So contact number is in integer format, so 64 contact equal end 64 dot parse, and this we have to write txt contact dot text. After this we have to write this string email equals txt email dot text string. After this we have book name equals combo box, that's a combo box books dot text. Finally we have issue date, so string book issue date equals date time picker. Okay, date time picker dot text. So now we have the value into the variables. So after this what we have to do is we have to insert this value into the database. So we have to make the SQL connection. For that, let me just copy this code. So let me just copy this code over here and just paste it over here. And after that we have to actually change this line of code. So let me just copy this code from my completed project. Okay, so I'm going to paste it over here and let me just explain you all this stuff. Okay, this is actually extra, sorry. Okay, so here what I have done is insert into IR book. This IR book is the name of the table which I have created. Here you can see this IR book, and after this std, this stuff is nothing but this is the column name. So here you can see this. Okay, so let me just make this little bit small. So here you can observe one small stuff is that std enrollment number is the first column name. After that std name. The same way I have done over here, std enrollment number, std name. Make sure that you follow the same sequence. Just pause the video and write this line of code. After this, in these column name, I have mentioned the column name. Here you can see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 over here. So let me just move back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are not going to insert the return date. That will be the separate module. Okay, so I'm going to show you that later. Okay, so we have written the column name over here, and after that we are going to insert the values into that. So values, enrollment number, enroll, we have written the variable over here. Here you can see this is enroll, it's selected now. The same way we have to do s name, department, semester, contact. Follow the same sequence, don't change the sequence. Just pause the video and write like this. Okay, here you can see this single quotes and double quotes enrollment, single quote, double quote s name. For the contact only we will have this double quotes only. Here you can see this, we have this double quotes plus plus and contact because it's in the big end format, it's in the integer format, that's why. For the string we have to write like this, comma, double quotes plus Sam, double quotes, comma. Okay, so let me just move till over here. So now just pause the video and write everything. Okay, so I hope you have written over here. So now I'm going to move further. So here you can see this. So now when you execute this query, this will actually done the task. I'm going to here you can see this, we don't need this data set because we are not getting back any data from the database. So let me just remove this stuff with this spawn.open. We have to open the connection, and let me just remove this stuff from here. Okay, after this what we have to do is we have to write this command execute non-query. Okay, execute non-query. Here you will find this. And after this we have to write this connection. We have to close the connection because we have opened that. And finally, okay, so you can see this error has been resolved. And after this what we have to do is we have to show a message that book has been issued. Message box dot show book issued. Okay, and just let me write this message box name success, and after that message box button needs to be okay, and this message box needs to be icon, have some icon. So message box icon, and which icon we need is information. We are giving information that book has been issued. So now task till here is done. Suppose if this column combo box is not selected, then what uh, the stuff we want to show to the user, that the else condition. Here you can see this, if these two conditions satisfied, this code will be executed. Otherwise it goes to else condition. In else condition I'm going to show one small stuff. Let me just copy this code and paste it over here, and let me just change this stuff. So here we are going to check two conditions, that is either the book is not selected or you have issued maximum books. Okay, so I'm going to change this stuff. So select book or maximum number of book has been issued, and just change this to no book. Okay, so let me just start this and let me show you that if it's working or not. So for Alok, we have seen that already 3 books has been issued. Okay, so let me just check the Alok enrollment number. So Alok enrollment number. Okay, so Alok has been removed from the database. Okay, so let me just issue for some new student, that is Lokesh. Okay, PU 1001. PU dash 1001, and just click on over here. Here you can see this. When I click on this, select book or maximum number of book has been issued. Okay, so let me just select the book. Oops, and just issue. Book issued. Here you can see this. Let me just close this stuff and open this stuff once again. PU dash 1002. Okay, so it's 1 Lokesh. Let me select one more, Java. So book issued. The same way I'm going to do one more, PU dash 1001, and select, and PHP issue book. So here you can see this. Now we have selected the book name, but still it's showing this. But why? Because now this location has already been issued with the 3 books. One in previous time while I'm coding, and 2 I have done right now in front of you. Okay, so now here this code is working fine. Okay, so now let me just move back to the code, and here this condition is done. So what I need to do is, here you can see this, if text box dot text is not null. If it's null, then we have to also show one information. Okay, so so we have to actually change this stuff here. This is an error, so let me just change this one to error. Okay, and after this, for this if, we also have to mention one else condition. This I'm going to show one message box dot show enter valid enrollment number, and message box name needs to be error. Message box button dot OK, and message box icon needs to be error. So let me just start this and show you what this will done. So here you can see this. When I click on this search button, so nothing happened. When I click on this, enter a valid enrollment number, because it's empty. Okay, so let me add something and issue book, enter a valid enrollment number. Okay, so because we are checking that if the data set is empty, if this text box is empty, then this will show an invalid enrollment number. Here you can see this. Let me just close this. So here we are checking that the text box name is empty. Okay, so not should be empty. So that will only done when our condition satisfy and that text box is filled with the data. So that's why it's showing that enter valid enrollment number. So we are done with this issue book. So now we have to code for what? we have to code for actually this one, txt enrollment, this one text box. If it's null, then all these data needs to be cleared. So let me just start this, and when I issue book, and suppose I have entered PU-1001 and hit enter. Here you can see this. When I delete this, now it's an invalid enrollment number. So what I want is when I delete this, these data needs to be removed from here. So how to do that? For that, we have to code on this text change event of this text field. So just right click and go to properties and just click this one, events, and here you have to find text change. Just double click on that, and we are going to change that. If txt enrollment dot text is equal to null, then what I want is I want to actually delete the data. Clear name dot clear, so txt department dot clear txt sam dot clear, and I want to clear the contact as well, and txt email dot clear. Okay, so now just start this. I have set the condition that if text box is null, then only clear the text boxes. So let me just add PU-1001 and just enter. Here you can see this. Now it's filled with the data. So I'm going to remove one by one. And when it's clear, everything is removed. So now it's working fine. So now it's looking better than before. So now one small stuff is still remaining. What is that? So that we have to code for this one. Okay, so let me just see. We have to code for this refresh button. So what I want is when I click on this refresh button, everything on the display needs to be clear. So I'm not going to write a very large code for this button. I'm going to write a very small simple line of code. So just try to understand. What I have said is when I clear this text field, when I clear this enrollment number, all this text field will be empty. So on this click button, I want that this text box needs to be cleared. When this text box will be cleared, all the data from this will be removed. So just double click on this to generate a click event, and in this I'm going to clear this enrollment dot clear, and for that text box, if that text box is empty, then this will clear all the text box. So in short, I'm using this code with the help of this. So let me just start this and show you is that working or not. So here you can see this PU-1001, and when I click on this, here you can see this the text is filled with the data. So when I click on this, here you can see this all the stuff has been removed because I have set this null. So if this is null, then all the data needs to be removed. So now it's working fine. So we are remain with this exit button. So how to do that? What I want is when I click on that exit button, this form needs to be closed. So double click on this, and we have to write this dot close. That's it. Just start this, and click on this. Here you can see this. Now it's working fine. So what I want is before closing, it needs to be asked from the user that if you are sure you want to exit. So for that, we have to just write message box dot show, are you sure, and message box name needs to be confirmation, and this needs to be icon something warning. So message box button needs to be OK or cancel, and I want this message box icon needs to be warning, and we have to check that if user enter OK, if user enter click on OK, then only this code needs to be performed. So is equals dialog result dot OK. So here we have checked that condition. So Now let me just start this. Okay, so here you can see this. When I click on this, when I enter enrollment of U-1001, and when I click on this, everything is working fine. And when I click on this, are you sure you want to exit? Are you sure? If I cancel, nothing will happen. If I click on here, okay, so this will close the form. Okay, so now it's working fine. So that's it for the today's video, guys. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to code for actually how to design this form return book. So let me just show you quickly with the completed project. Here you can see this one is complete. So let me just write this user ID and password. Okay, so in the next video, I'm going to show you how to design this form. Here you can see this U-1001. So for Lokesh, here you can see this. Now Lokesh, as I have shown you that Lokesh is issued with the 3 books, that's why I can't able to issue 1 more book. So here you can see this. So I'm going to just show you how to design this in the next video. So just stay tuned, and before you leave the channel, you need to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get updated with our new content. And please subscribe and share with your friends as much as possible. So thanks for watching.